I am Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher, 33. And a lesson that's showing up in my world as of late is a lesson revolving around the themes of accountability and responsibility. Now, someone in a victim mentality never takes any responsibility for what they're creating, what they are engaging in, what they're participating in, and they never accept any accountability for their choices. But a sovereign, free soul is called to be held accountable for their choices or their part in what's playing out in their life. Not all of it's maybe your fault, but being held accountable for the part that you play in the unfolding events of your life. And with responsibility, taking responsibility for what shows up, for what needs to be done, regardless of the pieces, the shattered pieces you may be picking up, being responsible for what you can do to work with what you got to move in the direction of your goals, hopes, dreams, and highest values. And for me, this is not an easy lesson. There are plenty of times in my life where I felt like I've been victimized, where something happened to me that was not on my terms. And it's such a heavy temptation to want to feel like putting everything on someone else, saying it's someone else's fault. But when I look at myself, when I say, I played a part in this too. I'm accountable for how I showed up in this situation, and I'm going to take responsibility for whatever I have to work with going forward. And what I find is when I take on this attitude or take these values of accountability and responsibility, yeah, the weight is heavier on my shoulders, but I wake up each morning and I can look myself in the mirror and I have self-respect. I have self-respect and I have purpose and action that is in my sphere of control because I'm taking it on myself. I'm focusing on what I can control and moving with intention from there. And when I do this, once again, it shifts the feeling of being a victim to being an architect, being someone who is consciously creating in their life versus someone who is just taking shit from the outside world and can't do anything about it. And in some situations, I know it's easier said than others, but ultimately, if we can find our place and find our acceptance of these values of accountability and responsibility, then we end up being stronger, more creative, sovereign beings. And that's my intention, because that's what we got to be to unlock our greatest potential. So that being said, I'll see you on the other side.